Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, वञ्चाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुरेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य चरणदास ठाकुर की जय। जय प्रपात की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. मम नाम श्यामरसिका, अहं German town नगरे वसामि. Today's spiritual quote for holy name is by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. If we hear properly, the holy name will enter through our ears into the region of our heart and shower down nectar. When we are lost in the ocean of nectar, we will see Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, I welcome all the devotees on the early morning call today. May I know who's there in the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Mama Nam Haladar Datam Srimbud Nagre Vasami. Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. My humble obeisance to all the devotees on phone call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Brother Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all the assembled devotee. Mama Nama Saranagata Devi dasi aham Kladrod Nagare Vasami. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Saranagata Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining. Anybody else would like to announce your name? So today we are so fortunate to have Hare Krishna Nagata Mataji and devotees for Bhagavad Gita class. So Mataji, please take over the call now. Hare Krishna.
Hare
We have
Krishna.
YouTube live also. So if anybody want to join, they can join there. You can send link to them. It is on everyday chant conference call now.
Sure Mataji, I think Valli Mataji and Vikas Prabhu also joined.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Valli Mataji and Vikas Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for joining. Yes, Mataji, please take over the call now.
Thank you everyone for joining. We will start our call with Mangalacharan prayer. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitan Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. We are discussing very important topic, very important chapter in Bhagavad Gita, Purushottam Yoga. This chapter describes about material world as well as the spiritual world's description is also there, and at the end of the chapter Krishna is explaining how to come or how to leave the spiritual world and come to the how to leave the material world and come to the spiritual world. And in this chapter there are so many wonderful places. Krishna explained that how he is everywhere. He is within your body, he is outside your body, and you can see him. I mean, people want to see the God, so you can see him in so many places, and that's what we just saw in last two verses. Krishna was explaining about how he is everywhere in this material world. He is the one who is controlling this planet. He is sunlight, moonlight, everything is coming from Krishna only. So today we will see that like how inside our body also Krishna works, how his energy is one who is running our body. So let's do verse number 14 and 15. Today we will read two verses. So Haladar Das Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances, and if you can please kindly read these two verses 14 and 15. We will all follow you.
Yes, Mataji, Dhanyavad for giving me an opportunity to serve you and the devotee stuff. So text number chapter 15, text number 14 on page number 606 in English Bhagavad Gita. So the 14 is like Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Prani Nam Dehamashritah Pranapan Samayuktah Vachamyannam Chaturvidam. This is Sanskrit way you do. English way says Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Prani Nam Deham Ashritah Pranapan Samayuktah Pachami Annam Chaturvidam. So I'll recite the Sanskrit way. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktah Pachamyannam Chaturvidam. The English way go. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritah Pranapana Samayuktah Pachami Annam Chaturvidam. And text number 15. Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto mattah smuti jnana mapohanam cha vedescha sarvera hameva vedyo vedanta kud veda videva chaham. In English way it says Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto mattah smuti jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarvera hameva vedyo Vedanta Krid with Eva Chaham. So I'll recite it Sanskrit way. Sarvasya Chaham Radhisannivisto Mattah Mutignanam Apohanam Cha Vedescha Sarverahameva Vedyo Vedanta Krid Veda Videva Chaham. English phrase goes Sarvasya chaham hridisannivishto mattah smrtignanam apohanam cha vedescha sarverahameva vedyo vedanta kridveda with eva chaham. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I will recite verse number 14 and 15. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyanya Chaturvidham. Text 15. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto matta smrutirjnanamapohanam cha vedescha sarverahameva vedyo vedanta krutveda videha chaham. Hari Bol. Please go ahead and recite, whoever is on the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayuktaha Panchamyanam Chaturvidham. Text 15. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिज्ञानं मोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैर्हरमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्धदेव विदेव चाहम्. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेह चाहम्. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्ण. अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानसमायुक्तः पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम्. सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानम् अपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहम् एव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत् वेदविद् एव चाहम्. हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. We will need volunteer today to read the purports because Sumati Mataji and Harshita Mataji is not there on the call. So let's see the first verse. Sarvasya Chaham. Sorry, Aham Vaishwanaro. So Aham means I, Vaishwanara means my plenary portion as a digesting fire. So digesting fire is called as a Vaishwanar. Bhutva is a becoming praninam of all the living entities, deham in the bodies, ashritaha situated, prana the outgoing air, apana the downgoing air, samayukta keeping in balance, pachami I digest, annam foodstuff, chaturvidham it is the four kind. The translation is that I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entity, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of food stuff. So this is a small purport comparatively. So any one person can read this purport, and then we'll go to the next one.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I can do that today. According to the Ayurvedic Shastra, we understand that there is a fire in the stomach which digests all food sent there. When the fire is not blazing, there is no hunger. And when the fire is in order, we become hungry. Sometimes when the fire is not going nicely, treatment is required. In any case, this fire is representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedic mantras, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 5.9.1 also confirms that the Supreme Lord or Brahman is situated in the form of fire within the stomach and is digesting all kinds of food stuff. Ayam Agnir Vaishvanaro Yam Antah Purushe Enedam Annam Pachyate. Therefore, since he is helping the digestion of all kinds of food stuff, the living entity is not independent in the eating process. Unless the Supreme Personality helps him in digesting, there is no possibility of eating. He thus produces the digests food stuff, and by his grace, we are enjoying life. In the Vedanta Sutra 1.2.27, it is also confirmed. Sabdadibhyo natah pratishtanacha. The Lord is situated within sound and within the body, within the air, and even within the stomach as the digestive force. There are four kinds of food stuff: Some are swallowed, some are chewed, some are licked up, and some are sucked. And this is and he is the digestive force of all, for all of them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, as mentioned, that there are four kind of stuffs. That is, in Sanskrit, it is called as a bhojya, means the one that you can chew. Then there is a peya, that one can drink. Then third one is a koshaya. Koshaya means that which you can suck, like mango and all. And fourth one is a lehiya, means that which you just lick it and eat that. So these four kind of stuffs are there, and so many places. It's not only Bhagavad Gita, but there are other Vedanta Sutra, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Everywhere it is mentioned that God is reciting within our body as a digestive fire. So it's not exactly Krishna, but his energy is reciting and his energy is working. And that is how we are actually digesting all this food. So uh, I was just thinking about it. How can you take this verse, like practically what is the use of this verse? So yes, this is to understand that, like, even like while eating, we don't even care what we are eating, but what happens to that, how it gets converted into energy. We really don't think about all these things, and doctors try to find out that, like, what is the use of this particular part of your body, what is this part is doing, but they still don't understand that, like, how this digestion happens. So something which is really subtle, which is like beyond our beyond our uh Haribol, is there anyone unmute here? Okay. So something that is very subtle way happening within our body and outside body too. That is all is by the grace of the God. So we will discuss this particular verse again, but this is what we will just keep it in mind, and we will go to the next verse, and then together we will see what these verses are. The next verse is Sarvasya Chaham Rudhi Sannivishto Matta Smritirjnanam Apohanam Cha वेदैश्च सर्वैर् अहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत्वेदविदेह चाहम् सर्वस्य means of all living beings, cha means and, aham means I, rudhi in the heart, sannivishto means situated, mata means from me, smriti remembrance, jnana knowledge, apohanam means forgetfulness, cha and, Vedai by the Vedas, Cha also, Sarva all, Aham I am, Eva certainly, Vedyai knowable, Vedantakrut the compiler of the Vedanta, Veda with the knower of the Vedas, Eva certainly, Cha and Aham I. So translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation says that I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. So let's see this purport. Vikas Prabhu and Haladar Das Prabhuji, would you like to read?
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
One paragraph each. Yeah, please.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Lord is situated situated as the Paramatma in everyone's heart. And it is from him that all activities are initiated. The living entity forgets everything of his past life, but he has to act according to the directions of the Supreme Lord, who is witness to all his work. Therefore, he begins his work according to his past deeds. Required knowledge is supplied to him, and remembrance is given to him, and he forgets also about his past life. Thus, the Lord is not only all-pervading, he is also localizing in every individual heart. He avoids the different fruitive results. He is the worshipable not only as the impersonal Brahman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the localized Paramatma, but as the form of incarnations of Vedas as well. The Vedas give us the right direction to people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back to the Godhead, back to home. The Vedas offer knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And Krishna, in his incarnations as the Vyasadeva, is the compiler of the Vedanta Sutra. The commentations on the Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva Maharaj in a Srimad Bhagavatam give us the real understandings of the Vedanta Sutra. The Supreme Lord is so full of the for deliverance of the conditioned soul. He is the supplier and digester of the food stuff, the witness of the activities, and the giver of the knowledge in the form of Vedas. And as the Supreme Personality of God, Shri Krishna, the teacher of the Bhagavad Gita, he is the worshipable and conditioned soul. Thus, God is all good, God is all merciful. Go ahead, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Shyam Rasika Mataji, if you are there, I'll stop halfway in that paragraph. Otherwise,
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anta Praveshta Shasta Jananam. The living entity forgets as soon as he quits his present body, but he begins his work again, initiated by the Supreme Lord. Although he forgets, the Lord gives him the intelligence to renew his work where he ended his last life. So not only does the living entity enjoy or suffer in this world according to the dictation from the Supreme Lord situated locally in the heart, but he receives the opportunity to understand the Vedas from him. If one is serious about understanding the Vedic knowledge, then Krishna gives the required intelligence. Why does he present the Vedic knowledge for understanding? Because the living entity individually needs to understand Krishna. Vedic literature confirms this. Yo sau sarver veder giyate. In all Vedic literature, beginning from the four Vedas, Vedanta Sutra, and the Upanishads and Puranas, the glories of the Supreme Lord are celebrated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. By performance of Vedic rituals, discussion of the Vedic philosophy, and worship of the Lord in devotional service, he is attained. Therefore, the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. The Vedas give us direction by which to understand Krishna and the process of realizing Him. The ultimate goal is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedanta Sutra 1.1.4 confirms this in the following word: Tattu samanapyayata. One can attain perfection in three stages. By understanding Vedic literature, one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By performing the different processes, one can approach him, and at the end, one can attain the supreme goal, who is no other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this verse, the purpose of the Vedas and the understanding of the Vedas and the goal of the Vedas are clearly defined. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. So, in short, in brief, we will go over this verse that Krishna is saying that I am seated in everyone's heart. As a super soul, he is seated in everyone's heart. We know in purport also, again, Prabhupada explained that three aspect of the Krishna. He as a super soul, he as a Paramatma, like Brahman, impersonal Brahman. Then the next one is a super soul, a localized Paramatma, and the third one is a supreme personality of a godhead, Bhagwan, in his original form. And then it is said in purport that there is a one more form, that he is there in this everywhere as a Vedas, as a knowledge also is Krishna, because ignorance is Maya and knowledge is Krishna. So that way, all these Vedas which are providing us a knowledge, that is also Krishna. And then in the purport, it is explained that what is the purpose of these Vedas, what are these Vedas. But before that, let's see that what the translation says, that like Krishna is sitting in everyone's heart, and from him is coming the remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And very nicely said that in purport, that we don't remember even what happened yesterday, or like, sometimes we forget totally, like, what we are supposed to do today. But at the same time, sometimes so many wonderful things, like, many many years back I have heard this from I met very wonderful devotees, and like when almost like 30 40 years back, or maybe 50 years back, they were there with Prabhupada, and they still remember that what they did, what happened, and how they can still feel it. I mean, they can still, it is there in their memory. So this remembrance of these wonderful things, they are coming from Krishna only. And then as the time passes, then we tend to forget so many things. Like we are anger, and sometimes, sometimes bad things like anger, and uh, sometimes we have some hatred towards some person. So it says that the time is increasing your sattva guna. Yesterday only we were discussing the first chapter of the seventh canto, and it is said that why this time factor is Krishna actually created, or this time factor is there in this material world. It is because it is eventually it is to limit the activities of this jiva in this material body, so that they are in a particular modes of material nature, and they get the opportunity to uplift themselves. And this time, that is, which is every day it is passing, every moment it is passing, that will increase the sattva guna in each and every living entity. So this sattva guna is nothing but the Krishna, because this time is nothing but Krishna. And that's why over a period of time, we tend to forget few things which are very harmful for us, and that is also Krishna's mercy only. Because if we keep on remembering all these nasty thing that people do say with us, and all the feelings that we have, or all our mind that processing it in a very very nasty way, I'll say. Sometimes like mind will really really change our perspective, because it is saying us something. It will force us to see things differently. So all these things will create a picture in our mind, which is not very good for our overall progress in on the path of Krishna consciousness. And time will heal that, or time will give us this forgetfulness quality that is coming from the Krishna, and that we will totally forget about that. So this knowledge that Krishna is saying, that like I'm also giving you knowledge. So remembrance means the memories, forgetfulness means again whatever is created, that memories. But what is knowledge? So knowledge means with the eyes, with the ears, with our five senses, whatever we are seeing in this world, that is given to the mind, and mind is actually creating a picture out of it, and it is kind of understanding is also created by the mind. So that knowledge and everything, that is what is going on in the mind, whatever is created in the created a picture impression, whatever sanskaras, everything that comes is as a knowledge. So that is what Krishna is saying, that I am giving that. So this we uses the five senses, these five senses, this body also belongs to Krishna, this heart is belongs to Krishna, this brain belongs to Krishna, and he is the one who is running all this show within our body also. So whatever we are grasping through these five senses from outside the world, that is also processed by our mind and by Krishna, and certain knowledge we are gaining from it. And another way of gaining the knowledge is through Vedas, and that is why Veda is mentioned in this particular verse. So there are two ways to get this knowledge. One is with our five senses, mind, and kept it or stored it in our brain somewhere in the memory. And second one is through Vedas. So through Vedas also, because Vedas are also coming from the Krishna. So this knowledge is again given by or provided by Krishna only. So these Vedas, they were first appeared in the heart of the Brahma Deva, because Krishna just mentioned only Chatushloki Bhagavatam, only four shlokas, where only that much knowledge was given by Krishna. But then the Brahma Deva, he elaborated that knowledge, that four shlokas are then explained by Brahma Deva to his wonderful son Narad Muni, and Narad Muni eventually told us or passed on this knowledge to Srila Vyasadeva, and Srila Vyasadeva again expanded this knowledge. And then this Vedic knowledge, or the Vedas that we call, that is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva. And again, Srila Vyasadeva, because he is being incarnation of the Krishna, we can say that everything, all the knowledge in this world, some which is we are reading, and some we think that, oh, this is what is like. Sometimes there are inventions, or some people they find out something that, oh, electricity is like, someone invented that, but it is not there. Like, it is, everything is, Krishna is only giving this knowledge. It is somewhere there. He's the one, he's the instrument used to actually give it to the world, or to take it out of his or take it outside the world. So that way this knowledge is coming. So two ways: it is from someone's brain through Krishna. He's actually giving out that knowledge, and that outside world is getting that wonderful things from people around us. And then the knowledge is coming from the Vedas also, and for both the knowledge, Krishna is a source. So sorry, actually, something is going on, so I'm not able to focus much on these verses today. So can you all please take a turn and just say something that you liked, or explain in this purport? Give me a few minutes, I'll be back. Valli Mataji, what part you liked about these verses? So both these verses are talking that how Krishna is working within our body. We think that, like, I'm taking care of body, this is mine, everything is mine. But we can understand from these two verses that not even like what we are seeing and understanding that is in our hand, that is also done by Krishna. But also like food stuff that we are like putting it in our mouth, that is digested, and the energy that we are getting from that food stuff, like our body whatever is getting strength from that food stuff, that is also done by Krishna. So Krishna is doing everything within our body and outside our body. He is the one who is creating also these foodstuffs, and he's also again, that created food stuff is converted into the energy and strength in every living being. So everything is done by Krishna. So how grateful we should be. So we have to think about all these verses every day, and remember him, that like how he is working within our body and outside our body, and making sure that like we will remember, or we will get the knowledge only that which is very beneficial for us to progress on the path of the Krishna consciousness. So how grateful we should be for Krishna, I mean, towards Krishna, for doing everything for us. So that is what I mean. In short, I'm taking from these verses. There are a lot of angles, and technically we can say so many things. But like explained by Prabhupada, that what are these Vedas? I mean, we can go deep down. People, study each and every verses, chanting Sanskrit way, and this is all really good. Chanting Veda in a proper meter and proper pronunciation is very, very important, and it gives us our brain also is trained in certain way. Our tongue is kind of trained in certain way because of chanting these Sanskrit verses since childhood. So a lot of benefits are there, but the main purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. If you know Krishna, that's it. You know Vedas. If you know that he is the supreme personality of a godhead, how he is there, every particle of this material world, and he is only working, and that's why this material world is working. He is, because of him only the flowers are so colorful. There is a wonderful smell. Because of him only the fruits are so juicy. Because of him I'm putting those juices and putting those fruits within inside my body, and it is getting digested. So if you understand this all, you know Vedas very well. And that is why in the very first sloka Krishna is saying that even if the tree, which is like a banyan tree, which is a material world, those the leaves are the Vedas, cut down that tree. Because it is very surprising, people ask so many times that why, because it is Vedas are coming from Krishna. Vyasadeva is Krishna's incarnation who gave us Vedas. So why we are cutting down the tree which is having the leaves as a Veda? So that means, are we rejecting Vedas? So not really we are rejecting the Vedas, but we are rejecting the Karma Kanda part of the Vedas, and we are taking only the essence. If we know Krishna, then there is no need of this material world also. We are going back home, back to Godhead. And that's why we are just cutting down this with the weapon of detachment, we are cutting down this material world. That means we are cutting down our relation with this material, or attachment to this material world, and we are getting ourselves free and going back home, back to Godhead. So that is the purpose of the Veda. So there is no need to go deep down into each and everything, but try to really follow the Prabhupada's purport and understand who Krishna is and what wonderful things he is doing in our life, and how grateful we should be, and how much we should surrender to him. Because if he's, without surrendering to Krishna, if he is taking care of you so nicely, then imagine that, like, if you surrender to him, what will he do to you? He will take you back to Godhead, and he'll keep you, with him. He will allow you to serve him. So that those are the wonderful things we can get after surrendering to Krishna. So these are the essence of these verses. So instead of going very technically deep down into these verses, I will stop here. This is what is my understanding. Please share yours. Please do not hesitate.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, very, very wonderfully said. You said you're not focusing, but still you gave the nectar out of these two verses, mainly how we have to take it in our daily living, because we are not that much profound in Vedas, and also we are not knowledgeable to understand completely also. But the part we have to understand is how to control our senses. That is the other thing you have mentioned, right? How to attain the knowledge from the senses, what to remember and what to forget. That's also very important, because if we forget the important thing and always remember the unuseful, what you said is uh, the devotees and the satsang that we can remember, that's the grateful thing. And what something happening around us, all the material nuisance and something that we have to try to forget. But how to control the senses in focusing on what to forget and how to remember the nice things. That's what I'm thinking about. And also about the first verse, which is the food that we eat, it creates the energy, they say, but the jataragni, that is the fire inside the stomach, that is more important. What we cook outside, the vegetables or other things, what we made is only a half cooked, and how it is cooked again in the stomach, what is the happening there, that is also mentioned in the chakras. When you go, how the water and fire and everything, they are placed properly. After that, Mooladhara, Manipura, Swadhisthana, all this one, right? So that is also, as you said, it is mentioned in many different ways in different places. Uh, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, He is helping us, and He is making us to nicely digest, and also providing different kinds of food stuff for our health, just to maintain the body, how to get the knowledge and how to acquire the essential information that is mentioned in the last paragraph. I like it a lot in the second verse. The main focus is only to purpose of the Vedas is understanding, and the goal of Vedas is clearly defined because it is reaching him finally. So how what is important is even the food stuff we eat that is related to him. And because of the food, the sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic gunas are also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, many verses. How the demonic people, what kind of foods they like, and how the sattvic people, what is the food that they like, and all these things. Like in ISKCON, our movement, we don't even eat garlic, onions, and all these things. So that is also very, very important to keep our mind focused and to keep our digestive system safely is in our hands. That's what we have to use our the choice that Krishna gives us. The only thing is when we focus on the final destination, and these are the different methods that we use, how you exercise your body or eat your food or clean your senses and focus on your thoughts. That is what we have to practice. That's what I think, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Valli Mataji. Very nice, wonderful points, Mataji. Vikas Prabhu, anything from you? Anything that you want to add to these two verses?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful explanation of the two verses. I was listening to a lecture on both these verses, so I have a few points to make on both, just as a service. So, if we, in this entire chapter, basically what Krishna is saying is the living entities who are in this material world are here to enjoy, but there is nothing that can be enjoyed by the living entity without his help. So he said that, the food stuff is there that he provides. First, he makes it tasty. And then, even when the living entities desire to eat the food stuff, they cannot really even digest it unless he's helping it. So, even in the material world, the items to enjoy, the propensity to enjoy, and the ability to enjoy is given by him. Is how I understand the first verse. Even in the first verse, if we can see, when he says that I am Vaishwanara, then 3-4 points come out from that. One, in just the appreciation, the how perfectly he does things. So as Valli Mataji was talking about Jatragni, in scientific terms, they say it's the purest form of HCl, hydrochloric acid. It is acid. If you hold it on the hand, it will burn the flesh. But in the stomach, which is so tender, it actually is able to digest the food. Not only digest the food, basically what does acid do? It disintegrates things. But it's not even just disintegrating without hurting the body and the stomach. It is actually able to extract from it the tattva, the portion tattva from every foodstuff that we eat. So it's not even just destroying the food stuff and breaking it into different elements. It is actually extracting the things that are worth extracting to put it into the body to run the machine of the body. Secondly, if he is in our digestive system as Vaishwanara, we should then become cognizant of while he is there, and without him our propensity to enjoy cannot go on. We should think of what it is that we are offering to him. Why should we make him to have certain things that perhaps are more unpleasant than others? For him, he's impartial. He said he's impartial. He's in the stomach of every living entity. He doesn't say Manushya now. He says Prani now. So in every living entity, he's doing this. Doesn't matter what that living entity eats. He's so impartial. He's so merciful. And we, at least, if we are having a developed consciousness, then through that developed consciousness, maybe we should progressively try to understand what it is that we are offering. If he is working for us, first we should work for him. But even if he is working for us, what should we make him work on? At least that much we can progressively start to change in our lives. The other thing is, food stuff of the four kinds. Basically, if we really understand, it is just atoms that are changing form. Prahlad Maharaj says that, I think it is in the seventh canto somewhere. He says that, punascha charvita charvanana. So we are just chewing the same thing again and again. In this birth, previous birth, and again. What does it mean? It means that Prabhupada has explained the body comes from foodstuff, from the grains, from the rain, the living entity falls. It takes the form of the grains are eaten, it turns into the productive juices in the body, and then the embryo gets formed. So the body is coming out of the grains, the body is sustained by the grains, and then when the body dies, it again becomes grains in various forms. Even if you actually burn your body, the ash again goes back into soil. The soil is consumed by the seeds and the plant, and then grains come out of it. So it's just a circle. It's punascha charvita charvanana. And that's really what we are doing. So this body, which is basically going to become soil again, in no matter whether you bury it, you burn it, or you just simply leave it as the Parsis do, it's going to end up in that cycle nevertheless. So this useless body that we have to use it for Krishna's purpose, is the last thing that I had heard in a lecture on this verse, where the Prabhu actually made a reference to the 11th canto, where Krishna says, my devotees are the most intelligent. Why? Because if they use this useless body for creating a little bit of service, then Krishna remembers it and he will pull us out. And the link between this and the next verse will come clearer. Because in the next verse, where Krishna is saying, Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha, it applies at two different levels. For those who are neophyte and materialistic, and for those who are those who are materialistic and those who are in spiritual pursuits, whether neophyte or advanced. So for the materialistic people, the Smriti, Jnanam, and Apohanam applies in the sense that you cannot even enjoy. I mean, if suppose I'm thinking of enjoying something, let's say I want to enjoy some sweet meat, maybe say rasgulla. When a rasgulla is there, I have to know that it is a rasgulla. I have to know that it is something that can be eaten. I have to know that I have eaten it and I like it, or I will like this if I eat it. Even that smriti has to be there, otherwise there is no propensity to act or not act. So that smriti to enjoy is coming from him. The jnana that is stored, first the desire is coming from him, the jnana on how to enjoy is coming from him, and in situations he also helps by giving apohanam, the forgetfulness. So even a materialistic person, the very basic things, no matter what you're trying to do, even if I am sitting and I want to get up, why do I need to get up? There is a smriti that is causing me to get up, because I have to do something. Even if it is to lie down, there is a smriti that's telling me maybe I should lie down at this time. So he's basically turning the wheel every single moment. We don't even realize how much he's helping us in that. And to a neophyte or a person who's spiritually inclined, whether beginning or more advanced, this same words apply slightly differently. So he is giving the smriti that we are not the body, but we are a spirit soul. He gives the knowledge how that spirit soul can connect with the Lord through Vedas. And he gives us the forgetfulness of this propensity to enjoy this world. So you can see how this same verse connects for different people differently. And there is a link again when we understand these words like this into the next 3 verses. So the other point you can think about on verse 15 is, if Smriti is what? That I have gone through something before and I am now remembering it. So maybe we should also make use of this body to create the kind of smritis that the Lord will, because He is impartial, He will again force us to remember it. So if we do a little bit of sadhana bhakti, if we do a little bit of pure bhakti, He will remind us. So let us create that smriti that He will push us further. So just a little bit of what we do, because He creates the relishable aspect of things. Even if we do it forcefully, the next time when the smriti comes, He's going to add a little bit of relish to it. Then we do a little bit more, He adds a little bit of more relish to it, because he's already said He doesn't just create food stuff, He actually adds taste to it, and then He allows us to digest it. So if we do a little bit of bhakti, He will add taste to it, and He will allow that bhakti to be absorbed, so that it again comes back through Smriti, through the Jnana. So that is how I was thinking about these 2 verses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing wonderful points. Thank you. Anybody else? So again, we can go back on these 2 verses, like, complete this chapter is talking about how wonderful Krishna is doing so many things around us. Like Prabhuji mentioned, that not only he's creating food stuff, adding taste to it, and then giving us inclination to enjoy it, and at the same time he's digesting also, and at the same time he's also giving us like detachment also. Everything is coming from Krishna. So more and more we surrender to Krishna, he will take care of us. That is like a bottom line. We don't have to do anything else specifically. We don't have to really look at how food I'm eating, chewing, and how it is digesting, and all these things Krishna is already taking care, so that you can completely focus on Krishna and surrender to him. So that is like we have to always remember. Any
And
point?
also, Mataji, a very important point, because
Yes.
Prabhuji explained very nicely, and like, in the points and how to mainly the other thing I remember is when we offer the food to God, right? That is the time when it becomes like a medicine for the body
Mm.
and mind also.
Mm.
It is not only like picking a good food and cooking it nicely, but the time when we offer to the God, that's the time when we get connected completely into that, immerse into that, and we have to feel the kitchen, how important it is, like Radha Devi's place, and how we have to even clean it and use it for the purpose like a temple. So that is also very, very important. That's what I'm thinking.
Nice point, Mataji, because somewhere in the purport, one of the verses, Prabhupada had written that when you eat prasadam, your brain cells also develop very differently than when you eat the normal food. There is a big, huge difference. So that affects your brain cells and the way then you start thinking. So thinking means or perceiving the things, like, that is a function of a mind. That's whenever you see something, whenever you hear with your 5 senses, you're using it to get something from the outside world. How you perceive it, that depends on these brain cells, and those are going to affect if you are eating the food stuff versus the normal food. So thank you, Mataji, for adding that point.
Hare Krishna. And I also see Nitin Kumar and Hema Mataji here in the call. Mataji.
Nitin Kumar means like Shamarasika Mataji's husband, Nikunja
Okay.
Prabhuji. We have Yashoda Vatsal Prabhuji, Hari Hari Bol. He joined for the first time.
Yes,
So,
Mataji. And Hemagi Mataji also joined first time, so we can join 3 times Haribol to welcome both of them.
welcome both of you.
Haribol.
Bol, Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol.
Hari
Bol,
Bol, Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you, Hemagi Mataji and Yashoda Vatsal Prabhu, for joining. And please give your association on every Sunday.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah.
Thank you. I just joined some time ago, Mataji, 20
Yeah.
minutes ago. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So this is more than a lecture. It is more of a discussion. So we are discussing two verses, 14th and 15th from chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. So if you are prepared, if you listen something about the next few verses, you can also discuss and talk about it in the next classes. But if you have any point, feel free. I mean, now also. So we are going through two verses. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashritah Pranapana Samayukta Pachamyanya Chaturvidham. And the next verse is सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तस्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृत्वेदविदेह चाहम्. And we have these wonderful devotees who also prepare and come here and then they discuss this point or share wonderful points. So you heard from Vikas Prabhu, Valli Mataji. We have Haladar Das Prabhuji also. He also guides us with the Sanskrit verses. And
Yeah, I
Samarasika
heard
Prabhupada.
both of them, and it was really, I relished the nectar. And as far as Vaishwanaro is there, from my childhood, my dad used to, recite this before our eating any food stuff, because he used to follow Swadhyaya Parivar, where this is the main verse that has to be recited before eating food. So yeah, from childhood I have been reciting. But then today Vikas Bro gave a very nice perspective, and even Valli Mataji added so many nice things. So yeah, a lot of learning for me today. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you so much, Prabhu. Hari Hari. Hari Bol. Okay, so we have few minutes. We will start the new verse and then we will continue in the next verse. So text number 16. Dvavimo purusho loke kshara kshara evacha kshara sarvani bhutani kutasto kshara uchyate. So next time we will do the recitation and synonyms and everything. I will give the short summary of this verse that there are two classes of beings, the fallible and infallible. In the material world, every living being is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living being is called as a infallible. And then Krishna declares in the next verse that I am beyond these two entities because both these entities are jiva. So what I'm learning from the Jaiva Dharma, I will just give a little bit of brief notes from the Jaiva Dharma book that when this material world is created, we all know that how from the four different Chatur expansion of Krishna, the Balaram expansion, from Balaram expansion comes the Baldev and then Sankarshan. Like that, we know that the Karna, Dakshai Vishnu, he appears in this material world. So Karnavadakshai Vishnu is lying in the Karan ocean. And from Karnadakshai Vishnu comes the living entities or part and parcel of the Karnadakshai Vishnu are all of us living entities who are in this material world, who are Baddha Jiva. We are called as a Nitya Baddha because since we were we came into existence, since then we are Baddha, we are attached to ourselves, we are attached to these material things, to attach to the material worlds. And it was our desire, and that's how we came into this material world. So we are called as a fallible, or we are always, we will fall down from our position, we will get attached to this material world. But when in this chatur varna, or sorry, chatur expansion, those jiva which are coming or expanded from the sankarshan, they are nitya siddha jiva. There are Krishna's other avatars also coming from the sankarshan only. So those all the jivas who are nitya Siddha Jivas, they are always there in the spiritual world, and there is no material things are attached to it. There is no ego attached to it. There is no these three modes of material nature affecting them. Their body is always, it's a spiritual body. They are in a divya stage all the time, and those are the Nitya Siddha Jiva. These Nitya Siddha Jiva sometimes come into this material world to help Krishna reclaim some of the jiva, and they take them back to Godhead. But there is always difference between these Nitya Baddha and Nitya Siddha Jivas. So there are gopis in Krishna's Leela. There are so many wonderful gopis are there. So some of the gopis, they are Nitya Siddha gopis, but some are these Baddha gopis or the sadhana Siddha devotee, I will say, because they are no more Baddha. Even if we are Baddha, we have the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. That's what Prabhupada is saying, and that's what all the Shastra is saying. That even if we are attached to this material body, even if we have so many desires, we can channelize it in such a way that we will be free one day and we can go to the spiritual world. So after going to the spiritual world, we will be called as a sadhana siddha devotees, and there will be a nitya siddha devotees and the sadhana siddha devotees. And both these devotees then, in order to help Krishna come to this material world, but they will never ever get attached to this material elements, or they will not get affected by this all three kinds of a gunas. So that is a basic difference between these two, so that we have to always keep it in mind that there are two kinds of Krishna said that two classes of men, or two classes of the beings, and these are the fallible and infallible. So we have to go to a point where we will become a nitya sadhana siddha, and associate with the nitya siddha jiva in the spiritual world. So that should be aim of our life. So this is just a little bit brief introduction to what is fallible and infallible, and how, in the spiritual world every living entity is infallible. Like Krishna, they have all these qualities, like very promptly you can see in the Nitya Siddha Jivas, and they have all the qualities of the Krishna, like they will never ever get get trapped in this three gunas, and also these six shatrus. We say that ahankar and the raga, lobha, moha, maya, matsar, all these are not going to affect them, even if you see them in the material world. And that is why so many wonderful devotees of the Krishna that we see here, who are coming with Krishna in his Leela, they have all the qualities of the Krishna, because they are coming from the spiritual world, and they shows these qualities. For us, it is very difficult to show these qualities. We say sometimes that I have been chanting for so long, but these qualities, I mean, at least I feel that so many times that I don't see that qualities that, Krishna is having, or that is what is we have in Bhagavad Gita as a Stita Prajna. And he's showing so many wonderful qualities. So that will come very slowly, because we have so many layers of ignorance, which is like, yesterday only we were reading in the Bhagavatam, like a cloud is so insignificant, but it has when it comes in front of the sun, then we will not see the sunlight that promptly, or it has a, even if it is significant, it will just come in front of the sun, and it will not allow the sun rays to come till I mean, to reach us. So same way, we have such a wonderful soul with having so many wonderful qualities, but it is not promptly seeing because of these layers, because there are so many clouds of the ignorance coming in front of, coming between our spiritual me and this, like, outside world. But when we will clear this all the clouds by chanting, by serving Krishna, and when we will become completely pure, we can go back home, back to Godhead, and we will be sadhana siddha devotees there. And Krishna promises that, like, you will never ever come back to this material world again, and you will stay there with this nitya siddha jiva, or infallible jivas. So that is what is the introduction to the next verse. So you can read, you can come prepare, you can discuss this verse. So you you just talk the points which are there with the take the purport and then say something about that or what you have heard in the lecture. That will be very nice discussion. So let's stop here. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. Any last point? Aladar Das Prabhuji, you want to make any point before we
Yeah,
leave?
beautiful chair. Nothing left for me, but I was just overall thinking, and that Lord says 920, 926 says Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome
Mm.
Bhakta Prachati. That tells us what we're supposed to eat as a human being
Mm.
and what we are eating, how we human being trying to oversmart this nature, And also Lord shows that I'm digesting that food for the particular bodies, Like we are supposed, our body's made for this kind of vegetarian food. But some of us think they're very smart, so they're eating different than this food, what's mentioned. And then same time, Lord is mentioning that what kind of four kind of different foods we are eating, the kind of food stuff. Some are drunk, some are the chewed, and some are the licked, and some are sucked. So I'm so grateful, by the grace of our Guru Maharaj and Bhagavad Gita and Lord Krishna, that we can realize and understand what I'm supposed to eat. And at the same time, Lord has created this food for me, so according to my taste, like I think a lot of times that the animals are more smarter than human beings, what to eat. Like if you offer the cow the meat, the cow will not eat the meat. The cow will pick the grass to eat. What is or leaves. And we think we going on the moon and we are more smarter than them, but we are not. So that's what
Mm.
makes me laugh sometimes. That's
Mm. Mm.
our
Mm.
reality. How intelligence.
Mm.
The food stuff, and also the uh, 15.15 is the very very most beautiful verse. What
Mm.
is the intention of it? This studying all the scriptures and
Mm.
listening our Guru Maharaj and sannyasis or the jnanis and some of the peoples like you and Vikas Prabhu and other Matajis. So that makes remind me what I'm supposed to do, overall my view. And I really
Mm.
appreciate this part. So
Mm.
that's the general things I'm
Mm.
thinking, And so
Mm.
so thankful to all of you and all the
Mm.
scriptures and our Guru Maharaj for giving us all this knowledge.
Mm.
That's all my overall points, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. This came into my mind while Vanli Mataji was talking, and very nice that you mentioned that this is how you can help Krishna. We are supposed to help Krishna in all his all his different karya or different activities in this world. He's so that's why we are propagating also this knowledge to everyone. So like that, by eating the right things, also you are helping Krishna, because animals, they eat only as much as they required for their body, but we overeat, we over drink. So by keeping our portions also proper, and by, as you mentioned, patram pushpam phalam toyam, only keeping to the vegetarian, and that to offer to Krishna, if that kind of a food stuff we put it in the stomach, in a way we are doing service to the Krishna by putting because he is at work, that digestive system is at work to digest all this food stuff. So that is how we can help or serve Krishna, by putting the right things in our tummy. And at the same time, matta smrutir jnanam apohanam cha, also he is the one who is maintaining all this knowledge, is giving the remembrance, is giving the perfect forgetfulness. So with the five senses, whatever intake we are taking from this material world, if that is a right intake that we are taking in, we are serving Krishna only. By doing the Ekadashi, keeping our stomach one day full, complete, you know, uh, complete stop, and kind of not giving trouble to the digestive system, it is also still serving the Krishna. So this is also another way to look at these both the verses. So thank you again. There are wonderful ways we can expand and explore these verses. But the bottom line is that to looking Krishna everywhere, looking him inside us and remembering to serve him all the time and not giving, any kind of extra work by overeating or by putting the wrong things with our five senses. So
Very nicely
thank
said,
you.
Prabhuji. Haladhar Prabhuji explained so nicely.
Yeah,
I was thinking
yeah.
like different varieties of food, like sucking and licking, and the hard food. Sometimes I remember when I was in the hospital, not allowed to eat, right? So
Right.
for the different conditions also, right, Mataji, when they get old, they can't eat the hard
Yeah,
foods and something. Even if they are good, we are not allowed to eat. We are not
yeah.
able to eat. So that, yeah, that
Yes.
time also these different varieties are always.
Yeah.
So we have choices, so many choices also Krishna gave for us.
That is so true. So true.
Yeah. And also,
Yeah.
if we eat more, we sleep more. That is the
Mm.
relativity of how you use the body. If you put more into the stomach, we need more time to digest,
Mm.
and also valuable
I,
time wasted. That's what I feel.
I was
Yeah.
reading an article that's our digestive system in our stomach, each individual's body, is so beautifully designed. If we want to do that system outside of our stomach and the ground, they say it takes a 1 mile, 1 square mile area to make that kind of system, and it still will not be do as
Mm.
good job as our stomach is doing.
Mm.
Think about how
I
this
know.
body is created, such a beautiful way.
Yeah. Same way they say about the memory also, Prabhuji, that
Yeah,
like whatever data, how much ever data we are keeping it our mind, if we try to create like, put the servers, everything, hardware outside, it's like miles and miles, and
yeah.
still it's not going to work that efficiently. They are creating this artificial intelligence and all that, but like how we recognize the people, we had seen them like when they are young, still our mind it recognizes that those faces if they come in front of us after years, so many things. That is what is like all Krishna's energy, it's not us. Yeah.
So,
So thank you so much, wonderful discussion. Thank you again. Have a very Krishna conscious day ahead.
yeah.
Let's
It's a
chant our last
it's a
shloka.
Easter day too, Mataji. Lord, a lot of our
Easter day.
Christian brothers and sisters are praying for Lord Jesus Christ. So
Yeah. He
that was
came
Good
back today,
Friday.
right, Prabhuji?
No, he left. He left. He went to heaven today.
He
That
went to heaven today.
Good Friday was where he was crucified, and today, as the Easter, he leaves his body and go to heaven. That's what the Christian brothers believe in. So many nice Christian brothers and sisters I meet different places, and they talk to me, and I encourage them to read Bhagavad Gita. I say, if you are registered with the name, think about the Jesus Christ is saying about Bhagavad Gita, and that way they can gradually get interested in it, in
Mm,
Bhagavad
mm,
Gita.
mm.
Sometimes we
Yes,
fight for the
Prabhuji.
name. Of course, we
Yeah.
believe that, but to encourage them, I just encourage, okay, you think
Mm,
Jesus Christ is God? Okay, but read the Bhagavad Gita wherever you see Krishna name, you put the
mm,
Jesus Christ name with him, and read the Bhagavad Gita. Right
mm.
there in different ways.
Thank you. Yeah. Prabhuji, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Jai,
चरे श्री
Jai,
हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, श्रील
Jai,
प्रभुपाद
Jai,
की जय,
Jai,
श्रीमद्
Jai,
भागवतम की जय, भगवद
Jai,
गीता की
Jai.
जय। हरि हरि बोल, हरे
Hare
Hare
कृष्णा।
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Nanda
Krishna.
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna.
धन्यवाद
Hare
प्रणाम।
Dandavad Pranam Mataji. Very wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so
थैंक
much,
यू
Mata.
गणपति, हरि हरि।